say. The world is not what it seems. Do you believe that? I do too. If I didn't, I could not stand here right now. I'd probably drift off into the ethers somewhere. But I keep myself anchored in that knowing. And it's interesting because this morning I got drawn back. I've been doing a lot of other teachers, Bob Proctor, Joe Dispenza, all these different people, Greg Braden, Patrick Feren, Reverend Diane. And I got drawn back to Ernest Holmes because the man had a lot of great ways of saying things. And I went back to the textbook this morning, and I'm going to actually give you something when I'm done speaking, because I want to dare you this month to live the principles that we teach here, to actually go out and live them and prove them to yourself. And it's daring to do that when you see so much stuff from the outside that makes it seem like it's not true, but I'm going to dare you to do it, to just live the principle. And I'm going to give you a few things that are working for me. And daring is to do something courageous, right? It's to do something that maybe you haven't done before, or something that is difficult to do, like Reverend Diane said, talking to somebody that was difficult to talk to, and yet trusting that that was going to turn out fine, that all was well. That's what it takes to dare, is to trust in the outcome before you do the dare. And then if for some reason it doesn't work out the way you thought it should work out, there usually is something that you need to know about that, or something that you need to go deeper about, or whatever, that didn't make it play out exactly the way you thought it was going to play out. Because the universe is kind of tricky. It gives us exactly what we are. It mirrors back to us exactly what we are. And this is principle, this is truth, that it's true. You could prove it for yourself. It's going to mirror back to you exactly the people that where your consciousness is. It's going to mirror back the experiences of where your consciousness is. So one of the things that we can do that we don't always do to dream, today is about daring to dream, is to use our imaginations. Our imaginations are our most powerful tool. And sometimes we wait to see from the outside before we actually dream of something the way we want it to be, the way we envision it to be, to actually use our imagination without looking at what's happening in the world, to use the power of our imaginations. If we think of all the great things that have happened on this earth plane, have been by people who dared to think beyond the conditions of the world. I mean, just take the Wright brothers is the easiest one to just pull out of my hat, because, people weren't flying around, right? And they dared to think of something greater. And I think that we're being called to dare to get out of the consciousness of the world and get into a higher consciousness and start using our imaginations. And then, like I said before, to act as if it's already done. Because if we just stay in our imaginations and dream away, dream, whatever that song is, it's just gonna stay a dream. So how do we walk into the world as if it's already true? Only you can answer that question. I read this little thing from Tut, what is it? Tut, the Universe, Mike Dooley. And I get his little messages every day. And he says, what little baby steps can you take today that will demonstrate expectancy, prepare for your dream's manifestation, and above all, place you within the reach of life's magic? What steps can you take? You ask that question, and then please ask this question, then take those steps. And I promise you'll go down in history as a giant among your kind. Isn't that great? So we have to learn how to ask good questions, right? We think we know all the answers all the time, but can we ask good questions and trust that we're going to get the answer that we need, and then take the steps? And if we're stepping somewhere, usually we've been listening to something, but what have we been listening to? Have we been listening to our inner wisdom? How have we been listening to what the outside is telling us? And I know that we're being asked to go here. We are so being asked to go here. We're so being asked to go here. I'll say it again. So the other question is, like, what are we waiting for? Why? What are we waiting for? There, you know, we're waiting for something to change, and now we're being told that there's something else, and then there's something else, and then there's something else, and then there's something else, and else, and else, and else, and we're still waiting when we should be going out and living our lives. We're only going to be here for a short period of time. I don't know what happens after this. I'm knowing that the journey continues, but I want to just suck up my life here and just live it and live it and live it and live it. I'm not waiting anymore for somebody to tell me it's safe or it's okay. Does it mean I'm not safe in my world? No. I do the things I'm supposed to do, like I said before, but am I so safe that I'm afraid to do anything? I mean, come on, guys. We can't be waiting for something. I don't know if I gave you this quote last week, but it's such a good one by Neville Goddard. He said, our chief delusion is our conviction that there are causes outside of our own state of consciousness. Man's chief delusion is his conviction that there are causes outside of his own state of consciousness. Does that make sense? Like, it's a delusion to think that you're not the cause of your life, that God within you is not the cause of your life, that you don't come from first cause, and you're going out there and looking at all these things and blaming, not you guys, but just using the word you. We, those other people, whoever they are going out there, you know what I'm saying. And they're waiting, and they're saying it's their fault and that fault and this fault and that. And it's when all the time it's our own state of consciousness that we're bringing to the situation that is causing the situation in our life. So there is nothing outside of our own state of consciousness. Nothing. Nothing. What this does is it allows us to release ourselves from being victims and puts us in the role of the victor, the creator, the imaginer, the great, amazing creator, the expression of God that is so powerful, that has a mind they can use and a heart they can use and all of this. It puts us out of that, and we get to decide how we're going to live through this situation that we're in now. What are we going to do? Are we waiting? Are we just going to just enjoy our lives and have the things that we want to have in our lives? And it's all our state of consciousness. And the other thing is, if we can hold it in our minds, we can have it. That's a science of mind principle. Now, this is not about willpower. Willpower means you're trying to make something happen and you're pushing and shoving and all of that. It's called will. And what will does, W-I-L-L, is our ability to stay poised and peaceful amidst it all and keep our dream alive with basically our minds, our thoughts, our conviction that all is well, or whatever it is that we're dealing with. So it's called will, and it's not willpower. Just please don't, it's not willpower. So I dare you to use your will this week, your ability to keep your mind poised and calm amidst it all, and to trust that there is something greater within you, as you, that's carrying you through. So stop asking how. I wrote about this week. How is a really kind of detrimental question when it comes to universal laws, because you don't have any idea how something's going to happen for you. You don't have any idea. And how will trap you in the world of form and the world of how am I going to get it done, how da-da-da-da-da-da. Now, it doesn't mean you just sit on the couch and go, oh, I'm having this dream, I'm dreaming, and I'm not doing anything. It's not about that. But it's about following, like we said, taking the baby steps and opening up to the universe, bringing it to you, through you, as you, because it doesn't understand the word how. It doesn't understand anything besides the present moment. And this universal vibration, this law, whatever you want to call it, it's a vibration that you're creating within yourself, knows how to put the pieces together. It's bringing the pieces together according to your vibration. So you have no idea how those pieces are going to come together. It could be a chance meeting, a book falling off a shelf, a class that you take, a something, somebody says something to you. It could be anything. I mean, I've had situations like financially where I'm treating for more abundance in my life and something comes out of nowhere. I have no idea. I wasn't expecting it to come from there. I just get out of the way. It's like, I'm always secure. My finances are secure. I am secure. My success, my mentor used to say, my success is non-negotiable. I don't know how it's going to happen. I know that I'm being led and I'm doing things, but I get out of the way of how. So, and the only way you can get out of the way of how is if like you really trust that there is an energy that's moving through you, that's a vibratory energy that has to take form, and according to your will, according to your thoughts, according to your conviction about what you want to experience in your life. And we need more people thinking this way right now. And I know the people in this room have that capability to do that, to be strong. And you have principles and tools you can use, and you can use them right now. You don't have to wait. So I have a little quote. It's a long one. But this is a daring quote that I have for you that you can have a copy of. You remember I told you about Bob Proctor, how he has the book on his desk and he doesn't move from the page until, and this guy's 87 years old now and he's still going strong. He doesn't move from the page, and he says, sometimes I've been on a page for 3 months. He doesn't move from it until he conquers it, until he is practicing it. And so I picked this page today. Yeah, Reverend Diane will pass it out. It's an Ernest Holmes quote. And he says, begin to blot out immediately, one by one, all false beliefs. Can you do this? All false beliefs that man is limited, poor, or miserable. Please forgive his man quote, his man use of man pronoun, he, all of that, because it's just, it was written in 1927. Begin to blot out immediately, one by one, all false beliefs that man is limited, poor, and miserable. Can you do that? Refuse to think of failure or to doubt your own power. Refuse. So what is that going to mean? That means when it comes up, you're going to say, I don't think that way anymore, and you're going to have something to exchange it for. See only what you wish to experience and look at nothing else. Now, this could be taken in a negative way. It could mean that you're not going to be compassionate toward people that are having trouble, but that's not what it means. It means that in your experience of thought of mind, that you're only looking at what you wish to experience. You don't keep fabricating things that you don't want to experience. Does that make sense? All right. Then the other one is, we are relieved of all thought of clinging to anybody or anything. Cannot the great principle of life create all for us that we need? We have to believe that. The universe is inexhaustible. Can you believe that? It is limitless. It knows no bounds and has no confines. We're dealing with a power that is unlimited, that has no confines. It only has the limitations that we put on it. So, we are not dependent, this is my favorite part of the quote, we are not dependent on a reed shaken by the wind, but on the great principle of life itself for all that we need or shall ever have. It's not some flimsy thing in the world, it's not man-made it's a power that we are, that's inexhaustible. It's not shaken by anything. It doesn't even know. Have you ever gone for a walk and just I was walking on the Kaua'i path the other day and just looking at nature. It's not even knowing any of this. It's just doing what it does. It's powerful. That's what we are. We are not dependent on the reed shaken by the wind, but the great principle of life for all that we need or shall ever have. It is not some power or a great power. It is all power. And he wrote it in all caps. It is all power. All we have to do is believe. Never wavering. That's where the will comes in. No matter what happens. there's a lot happening right now. There's a lot happening right now, but we can't waver no matter what happens. And as we do this, we shall find things are steadily coming our way and that they are coming without that awful effort, which destroys the peace of mind of the majority of the race, right? We've all experienced that awful effort that is so heavy on our shoulders that we can't even stand it. Well, if we practice this principle, we're guaranteed we're not going to feel that, because we're going to know that we're coming from a power that can't be shaken like a reed in the wind, that it's all power, and that's who we are. We know there is no failure in God's mind, and this is the mind on which we are depending. So there is a mind, one mind, that we're all living in. It's God's mind. If you don't like the word God, pick something else. But it doesn't matter what you call it. I love the song they sang last week, One Power. It's Allah, Buddha, Jesus, whatever we want to call it. It's one power, it's one mind, and it provides for us in every single solitary moment everything we could ever require. If we can follow these things that I talked about today, I think that I know that I'm being demanded to do this right now. I feel a place within me that I got a whole thing about Jesus this week. Jesus, of all people. Jesus, the beautiful man Jesus, who had a lot going on in his world at the time he was walking this earth. Dictatorship, violence, he had it all going on. He never went out and tried to change that. He tried to let people know who they were and to walk in that light and that love and that healing grace. And that's what we can all do. We can't change the world. We can only change ourselves, and the world will change because we're the world. Right? So, and it's got to start one person at a time. One person at a time. And it's our time. I just know that. So, yeah, so I dare you this week. I dare you. I dare you to use these principles and come talk to us next week and let us know how your life is going, and to know that you're powerful and loving and beautiful and magnificent and all of that, and eternal and everything. So, namaste.